Breaking news, Alan Lichtman, who I'm sure many of you know, is a history professor who has accurately predicted every single presidential election for the past 40 years, except for one, which was the Al Gore 2000 election. And if you know about that election, you know that he said Al Gore was going to win, and in a way, he kind of did. So he has predicted every single election. He's just come out with his prediction for the 2024 election. Before we get into that, and I think it's going to surprise a lot of you, I want to go through what the 13 keys are, how he got to this prediction, what his methodology is, because it's different than any other analyst out there right now.
May seem a little bit crazy to be combining earthquake prediction with political prediction, but in fact, it makes perfect sense because we rethought elections not as Republicans versus Democrats, liberals versus conservatives, or Jimmy Carter versus Ronald Reagan, this was 1981, but in geophysical terms, as stability, the party holding the White House stays in office, or earthquake, the party holding the White House is tossed out of office. And we had a theory. The theory was that basically you have stability or upheaval based upon the strength and performance of the party holding the White House. The big picture, the economy, foreign policy, social unrest, scandal. And the challenging party and the campaign don't matter. So we looked at every presidential election from 1860 to 1980, and we came up with the 13 keys, the 13 key factors. True-false questions that could be answered in advance of an election and that both gave you insight into how elections really work and can predict the outcomes. And it's really simple. You don't have to take your shoes off to use the keys. You just have to be able to count to 5. That is, if the party holding the White House loses more than 5 keys, loses 6 or more keys, they're out. 6 strikes and you're out.
Okay,
and
so let's stop there.
The keys are phrased true-false questions. So 6 falses and the party in power loses. Fewer than 6, the party in power wins. And we have since used this system to predict the popular vote outcome. It's a national system of every American presidential election since 1984. That's 7 elections in a row. No other system has that record of advance predictions.
Right.
Okay, so you kind of get the idea there. So he has this system and where he can basically take the temperature of where we are in a political campaign, who is running up the score with these 13 different attributes of an election. He goes by charisma, incumbency, that sort of stuff. And then from that, he can make a prediction. And he has predicted accurately every single time, except for the 2000 election. He predicted Donald Trump would win in 2016. So what does he have to say about the 2024 election? Well, here he is. Real quick, if you're liking the video, if you could please hit like. It helps so much get this in front of people who need to see it. And if you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. Thanks so much.
Kamala Harris will be the next president of the United States. At least that's my prediction for this race. But the outcome is up to you. So get out and vote.
So there you go. I mean, I would love to hear what you think. I will have to be honest that when I heard that, it made me very relieved. I know that it's just one man and one man's prediction alone, and he could be wrong. This could be the time that he is wrong. This could be the year that he's wrong. But it is at least a little bit comforting when there's so much chaos in the world that, you know, someone who has a methodology that has proven to work has said that Kamala Harris is going to win. And I just want to say this is in stark contrast to someone that the mainstream media and a lot of pundits rely on for their predictions, and that's Nate Silver. Nate Silver has gone on, for some reason, has a huge career, even though he goes, in 2022, he predicted a Republican sweep that never materialized. Here he is quoted saying, the polls have been pretty clear in showing a Republican rebound. He's even said before that it's probably foolish to think a New York City mayor will successfully translate into being a national political figure, but I still think Eric Adams would be in my top 5 for who will be the next Democratic presidential nominee after Joe Biden, which, if you know anything about New York City politics, that is a ridiculous statement to make. He even said that on election day in 2016 that Hillary Clinton had something like a 70% chance of winning. He kind of ekes by not making predictions by having a model that makes the predictions for him, but he creates the models. And he says, he's also like, well, it's statistics. So if you know probability, it's like 77 times out of 10, it's going to be Hillary. 3 times out of 10, it's going to be Trump. These are still predictions, and they have been proven to not be very accurate. Alan Lichtman, love him or hate him, he's always been right. And we'll see in November. But like he says, we have to now make sure that we do everything we can to finish this race strong. And I'm going to link to the New York Times, the full piece. It's actually really interesting. I couldn't show the whole thing here, obviously, because of copyright issues. I can only show you a little bit. But I think you should watch it. It's 8 minutes long, and it'll be in the description. Thanks so much, and see you next time.
I don't know what's wrong with you young people. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?